Yeah, well, we always hope that, but, when two people come together, that means you got to think about financial planning, and this next group knows an awful lot about it. It was founded in 1999 by 3 financial planners. This nonprofit serves the gay and lesbian community specifically. Let's bring in Stuart Armstrong. He's board member of PridePlanners. Great to have you here on Bloomberg Radio.
Thank you, Carol. Great to be here as well.
I'm wondering, have you guys gotten even more busy as a result of the developments in the gay and lesbian community over the past year?
Well, it's pretty fascinating because a lot of people think, well, why is this organization even going to continue with marriage equality now with all 50 states? And we still have a lot of work to do.
What does that mean, you have a lot of work to do?
Well, there are so many couples and families that just never had the opportunity to marry the one they love from years ago. So they set up their whole lives with this notion that they're legal strangers essentially by the law. And now they can get married. So now they're trying to weigh, should we get married? What are the pros and cons? Their mindset's shifting. So you still have a lot of counseling, a lot of guidance to get people off of that sort of notion and then moving forward to what marriage can really do for them.
That's a good point, though, the pros and cons of getting married. When it comes to a financial situation, you laugh, right? But there are pros and cons to both situations.
Yeah, theoretically, it starts with love and commitment at the door, at the threshold. But, after the fact, there are some hard realities about that people have to understand. And in some situations, marriage really helps. In others, from a practical standpoint, don't help at all.
Hey, I'm wondering, too, prenuptial agreements, right? You've seen that certainly in the heterosexual community for a long time. What about in the gay and lesbian community? Is that becoming a bigger part of once they commit to living a life together?
Well, partnership agreements were always vital because you didn't necessarily have, certainly the institution of marriage to be able to rely on. But, one of the jokes we make now is now that we have, one of the best things about gay marriage is divorce.
I talked about this earlier, about divorce attorneys saying, well, great, our business is going to double or whatever.
I did a presentation yesterday or Saturday on this topic of planning for LGBT, and my husband of 10 years, we just celebrated our 10th anniversary on Thursday.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. There aren't many marriages that have actually been around for 10 years so far, given that the first were in 2004. But anyway, he'd never heard me present before, so I did this quick shout out to him. And then I said, outside of this room, most people think of with 10 years of marriage, it means, giving a gift of 10. But I said, in this room of financial planners, we all know what 10 years means. It means that you can file for Social Security benefits if you're divorced. So everybody in the room laughed, and my husband said, well, I was the only one in the room not laughing.
Yeah, honey, not so funny. What have you learned? Because I think, I don't know, I feel like it becomes an increasingly complicated financial environment for everyone.
Yeah, we've learned a lot, I think, in terms of, how long it took interracial marriage to happen, how long it took women to get the right to vote. Some people think that marriage equality happened overnight. Really, the first licenses were applied for more than 40 years ago and denied, of course. So the legal challenges are still going to exist. There is no protected class for gay people nationally, and only about a third of the states actually have job and housing discrimination, and not a lot of them have public accommodation protections. So
there's still a lot of things to work out, Stuart.
There's still a lot. There might be a couple who get married, but then they're in a state that doesn't have job protection, right. And they want to put their spouse on their benefits, and then their employer finds out, and their employer may be not so comfortable about having a gay person working for them. What protections does that person have?
So even with marriage equality, there's still a lot out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's and those changes hopefully won't be too long in the future, but they are still certainly big changes.
So when a gay and a lesbian couple come to you or to your members in terms of looking for some advice, what's kind of the checklist that you go through?
Well,
is it any different from a heterosexual community?
Certainly less so, but there's still a level of sensitivity that you have to bring to the table as a planner to really show that you are in tune with their historical path to where they got to today. Who owns what? I mean, you certainly, they may have, as a couple when they were unmarried, set their titling up in certain ways, but now they can think about how they title things because they can gift back and forth to each other. That they used to be much more limited in doing. It's just from a personal standpoint, just when the Windsor decision happened 2 years ago, I really felt more married. It was just
interesting, right?
I can't even explain it.
Well, it's acknowledgement, isn't it, to some extent?
Yeah. It's just feeling not so much of a second-class citizen. So, and a lot of our clients certainly feel that way, but there are still, deep pockets of resistance across the country. So, gay people still need a certain level of sensitivity in the way that planners work with them, and an awareness of that you still have to ask them, treat them respectfully, and ask them how they really want to be working.
It's interesting that, you say, and forgive me if this isn't the right word to use, but, it's different populations, and you need people who are sensitive and really understand the needs of a specific population.
Yes,
and that's what you guys do.
Yeah. The PridePlanners Conference we did on Friday, there was we had the Massachusetts Senate President and the Massachusetts Attorney General speaking about their personal and professional involvement within the whole marriage equality battle in Massachusetts. People don't know how close it came to really being derailed in Massachusetts. And then we had the named plaintiff from the 2003 court decision. Like Windsor's attached to the first Supreme Court decision 2 years ago, and Obergefell now, Goodridge is attached to the 2003 decision, and we had her speaking, Julie Goodridge, about her personal experience. It was quite amazing. Unmarried, married, and then divorced. Very touching.
I bet it was. It sounds like it. If you want more information, you can check out their website, correct? PridePlanners.com, is it?
.org.
And you should do so. Stuart Armstrong, thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Nice to talk with you. He's board member of Pride Planners. You are listening to Bloomberg Radio.